Welcome to Real Money Talks. Real strategies from the moneymakers and the world changers that you can use to make millions, keep those millions, multiply your wealth, and build your team. Here's your host, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View, Loral Langemeier.
I wanted to have some fun starting off today. Hope you guys had an amazing weekend. I had an amazing weekend. And we really take this freedom seriously. So I thought I'd have all the accoutrements of it. And we're going to be broadcasting. We are live on all social channels. So those of you that are out on social channels, ask questions. I'm going to give just a good 20, 25 minutes of just straight content. So those of you that are out in the chat, let us know where you are calling in from. And those of you on social channels, again, put any questions in the chat. And when we talk about financial freedom and financial independence, it means something different to everyone. So, what I say when people say they want financial freedom or they just want freedom, what usually comes through once that's all dissected is, I want to live by choice. I want to do what I want, when I want, with who I want, right? You just want choices versus the needing to show up to a job, to work someone else's, business dream. Now, some of you don't have big business dreams, and your dream is to support a big team. So that is a very worthy goal. But what does freedom mean in the context of all of that for you? And actually, I'd love for you to put in the chat, what does financial freedom mean to you? You're in Omaha, Thomas. Wow. You could go 40 miles out to where I grew up and go see the Langemeier, the Langemeier Lamb Farm Family Ranch.
I was going to swing by and take pictures for posterity's sake.
You could take pictures of the 4-H lambs and pigs and, where it all began, right? It's funny.
It's actually funny, Laurel, because as we know, we're editing now the Make Your Kids Millionaires book and talking about your story growing up on a farm from Nebraska. It's, I could take some pictures for the book today. We'll get that done.
yeah, exactly. So what does financial freedom mean to you? Go ahead and put that in the chat. And those of you out on social channels, what does that definition mean? Some of you, you may not put the word financial is what I see. A lot of times you'll just put the word, right? You just want freedom. Well, what does that mean? So we're also going to be cutting this as a podcast. So Thomas, I'm going to have you just head off to me on camera. Those of you that are watching on the podcast, it's Loral's Real Money Talks. Download it on any of the app stores. We're up-leveling it, soon to be on iHeartRadio and Pod Nation and a lot of other places. So excited as we expand our podcast more broadly. And this is really serious. We're at the halfway point of 2021. So if you think back to our New Year, New You conversation, we went through 8 areas of your life. Now, there's an app coming soon that I'm going to introduce you to that actually goal sets in 7 of those 8 areas. See, the 8th area that I add in that a lot of people don't add in, and I think it's just critical, is your physical environment. But when you did your goal setting in 2021, right, how are you doing? I mean, we're at the halfway mark, just a little over the halfway mark. Are you on track to make the money that you said you wanted in 2021, right? If you said you wanted 120,000, or 10,000 a month, you better be, by now, if you wanted 10,000 a month, you better be closer to the 8,000 mark as you're doing it, or at least at the halfway mark at 5,000, right? So where are you? So that's kind of the first question. So I want to go back through some of these. So what does it mean to do what you want to when you want? Financial freedom means the ability to earn money independently of my time and geography, to travel where and when I want, be able to help others. Cheryl says financial freedom is a chance to choose with no limits of time what I can buy and do and give. That's great. I love that. Jason Henderson says money freedom, time freedom, service freedom. So as you define freedom, we're going to go through and talk about financial freedom, specifically how do you forecast for financial freedom? So I don't like the word budget. Budget's like diets. It seems to be really restrictive, but forecasting is like a projection into the future of what you're going to do. And I've had this question quite frequently lately on Clubhouse and other platforms that I've been on. So I thought I would explain the Millionaire Maker way to handle debt. More importantly, how do you forecast your spending because no one teaches you how to spend. There's a lot of people who say they teach you how to make money. I guarantee we're the best in class in the world, because we can do it in a few short days. And I've stopped saying, by the way, team and our internal group, and those of you that have been clients, I'm stopped saying that we're going to have a 2-day workshop. I'm starting to say, all I want is 13 hours of your time and I'll change your life. So I want from 10 to 6 on Thursday and 10 to 3 on Friday, 13 hours, and I'll change your life with money, because you'll have an opportunity to make some. So this week we're going into another one of our marketplace every 3 weeks. Mark it on your calendar. We are very, very serious. Those of you that are graduates, you'll join at 3, and then obviously you'll continue to marketplace. So how to sign up, go ahead and put that in the chat. So Steve and Molly, put in the chat. At this point, I would just call Molly and get signed up. St. George says that. And you sign up through the marketplace. Right now, we are doing actually complimentary tickets, but there is a $47 commitment fee, because if you don't show up, we're keeping your $47. When you show up, because it's your commitment, then you can have it back. But we are doing a commitment fee, because we staff for you. And last time we had a huge room and a lot of no-shows. We just can't do no-shows. We're serious about it. And if you're serious about it, we're the right match. If you're just kind of casually poking around on the internet, we are not your people. Now, as you like poke and stay and say, yeah, I'm going to click here and I want to stay, then we are your people. But we're very serious about when we teach, especially, when I'm using, a day and a half, 13 hours of my time to be with you and teach you. It's serious stuff. So excited about teaching it how to make money. One thing I want to go back to, physical environment. Again, there was a question mark. So physical environment is so critical, because it is the thing very few people set goals about, but it's something to strive for, because your physical environment also, it supports or distracts from your state. Meaning, do you have a great energy for today and you're going to like get it, and sell and be excited when you wake up, or it's like, oh, I hate where I live. I don't like my, house or apartment, or you just don't even like the state you're living in. You live there because your family lives there. Do you like the vehicle you drive, the cars, the office you show up to? Your physical environment does produce a lot of mental energy to you that most people don't take, that they take for granted. So that's what that all means. All right. And those of you again out on social channels, hope you have notes, take notes. So I pulled this off and dusted it off. It is one of our, what we call our 3 core programs and our 3 processes. So your wealth cycle, this is called Building Your Wealth Cycles. I developed it in the early 2000s. Is how to build your wealth plan. So that's what I'm pulling from, because if you don't have this, it comes with a 6-hour audio that is critical for you to build your wealth plan. Then I have another one, which is how to build your business plan. Your business plan is a subset of your wealth plan. So I want you to draw, like you draw a huge umbrella. Your wealth plan is everything about your life, right? It's inclusive of how you do money in your family. It's inclusive of your investments. It's inclusive of your retirement plans, your pension plans, whatever you have in that category. We self-direct all of our, self-directed plans. It's inclusive of your now forecast. We're going to get rid of the word budget. It's inclusive of how you invested, any of the, assets that you own, whether you own other businesses, own other real estate. Your wealth account is the big thing. It's everything that you own that's now held in trust. And those of you that need life insurance, Jason, you are welcome. You're one of the few, but I will let you. If you need life insurance, and then he can direct you to Scott, who does our trust. You need all of this. Your wealth plan for legacies goes through life insurance into a trust, and that's how it's held. So that's how serious this one. This one's the big one. This is the plan of your life. Your business plan is your business plan. If you have 2 or 3 businesses, you probably need 2 or 3 plans. And then expression of your power, we've talked about, endlessly, which is what Bob Proctor and I did with your mindset. Those are our kind of core 3 stock educations. When you become a client, you got to go through it. So some of you have been a client and you still haven't gone through this. So let's dive in. What does forecasting mean? I've had this question several times, literally in the last 7 to 10 days, specifically on Clubhouse. It's a platform I hang out on a lot now these days. It's like my new stage. And the question of, where you always talk about making money, investing money, Laurel, but you don't talk about budgets. And I'm like, I hate that word. Budgets are like diets. So we don't use that word. I change the words frequently to positive words. Like I don't use the word retirement very often. I use it more of an association because you know what that is. But by definition, it's an agricultural word that means to put cattle to pasture to die. It has nothing to do with money. Although it has trained the world to say retirement's when you're old. and somebody's going to give you money, right? It's just this bad word. So we call it financial freedom, because I also don't want the age association that you can't have financial freedom until you retire. I think you can have financial freedom whenever, right? I had my millionaire. So I had my millionaire moment, right? 1999, in June, when I turned 34 years old, right? So it was around that moment when I became a millionaire. So was I financially free then? No, because I still needed to build more cash flow into my asset base and build more passive income streams in my business side. So all that being said, let's talk about this word that you're no longer going to use called budgeting, and I call it forecasting. So what I want you to do, and just to kind of talk through what is in this book, right? So when you talk about forecasting, there's actually forms that I give you that you're going to fill out. Now you can get this digitally or you can get it in a workbook. And I would encourage you, because the memory technique that goes on in your brain doesn't associate to typing on a keyboard. It actually associates to your writing. Believe it or not, there's an enormous correlation. So I prefer you get the workbook, get the audio, and let me talk you through how to fill it out. But there are literally workbook pages of all of the income you're going to make. So let me just give you like some big ones and we'll dissect it. So what you do is you take the money you're going to make per month. So let's just say that you are on track, or on average, you're making 5 a month, 8 a month, 10 a month, 20 a month. How are you going to spend it? Now, some of you are still living two lives. You have a personal life and then an entity or corporate life. So your personal life, we want to really atrophy the use of your personal life, because the only thing you should be paying for out of your personal bank accounts should be things that you can't deduct, right? So I don't use a lot. My life's very integrated, hence integrated wealth systems. So I don't have a personal life and a professional life. I have a life, and my kids are a huge part of that life. And as they get older, they're more and more part of that life. So in my personal bank account, I get paid a small salary, and it's determined based on, write this down, this is very strategic, and it's really important that you guys go back and re-listen to this, because I'm going to give a lot of gems. Some of you will get it, and some of you need to re-listen several times. So for the money that you make, so let's just start with those of you that make a paycheck, that goes into your personal bank account. You can loan it or give it to the entity, but you don't have a paycheck ever go to the entity. That is that just crosses your taxation of money. So W-2 income, payroll income, if you're watching from the rest of the world, is when you work for someone else and you get a paycheck. That is the worst money because of the way that it's taxed, right? You make it, it's taxed before you even get it. So when my company pays my paycheck, it puts it into my personal bank account from the company, just like who employs you. But the amount is only that I can't deduct inside my corporate life and my corporate structure from my accountant, right? My tax strategist. So a lot of you, if you're high income earners, because you get paid a lot, that's where your corporation needs to take over paying more and more bills. So you have more deductions. See, as an individual, you can't do deductions. As a company, you get to do deductions. That's worldwide. All right, so you have a personal bank account. The only thing that should be in there is like the basics, everything but your home office. You can write off part of your utilities, you write off part of your car, your technology, your phone. I know people that walk around. I have 2 I walk around with. Some people I know have 4 that what they walk around with. Critical for you to critical for you to know the difference. Let's talk about the corporation though. And inside the Wealth Cycle book, there is a whole corporate structure on what you can deduct and what you should be spending. So that is on page 64 and 65. And I give you complete structures and lists of things that you can do for just basic deductions. But here's the deal when you forecast. So I want you to forecast, here's the idea of it, between your personal, right, what comes in personally, where are you spending it? And when it comes in corporately, which is more important, where are you spending it? So you're not going to say a savings account, because savings is an undefined lump of money. You're going to say, I want a wealth account. So a wealth account to a lot of us in our community is a Flip Wall Street account. It's a place you're going to put money that from there you can go invest in other assets. You'll have a charity account. You might have a college or a business account for kids as they get older, right? At 10 years old, I start a car account. So whatever allocation I have for that, or whatever allocation I have for Roth IRAs. So how are you going to spend it? And here's the big activity I want you all to do. And it's more challenging than it's going to sound. I want you to intentionally forecast spending every penny. So not like go out and spend it physically on paper, which I give you all the forms in here, which is why I want you to go get this. Those of you who are already a client, you have it. If you're not a client, you need to go get it. So Steve, if you want to put in the chat how they get the workbook and the audios, we'd like to ship it out to you. I think we're going to give you a $47. Normally this is 199 bucks. So for those of you who are not clients, it's 47 bucks plus shipping and handling, and we will get it out to you. And so I want you to spend every penny. So you say, all right, well, how do I do that? We'll start with the fixed costs, right? So what are your fixed costs per month? Your mortgage, maybe you have a car payment or you have a lease, your phone payment, internet payment, utility payment, any of just the core stock things that you fixed, expenses that you have. Some of you may have some variable different expenses that you pay for on a monthly basis, and then start allocating and divide by 12, like annualize your payment. So if you pay like a big insurance payment because it's cheaper to do it once a year, then either allocate more out that month or allocate it throughout the year that is taken into your insurance account. Or other big annual payments would be like membership fees, or like your corporate your corporate reinstatement fees, right? That you have to pay the Secretary of State, or you pay Scott, a controller, to reinstate and make sure that your corporations never fall into default. So you do have some annual, you have some monthly, and you have, well, typically it's monthly or annual. So you want to proportionalize that into a spending plan. So you can do it on paper. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. When you do get this, it actually gives you a lot of forms and documents that you can just fill them in. But I literally want you, depending on how much you average on average. So here's what you entrepreneurs who have a little bit of varying cash flow, take the average of the last 90 days, right? Or 4 months, 120 days. How much on average did you make? And then going forward, how would you responsibly spend it? Right? Knowing that you want financial freedom at the end of this, which means a large chunk, as much as you can take. A lot of people say 10% pay yourself first. I'd say take 20 or 30. If you can take as much as you can to pay yourself to go buy new assets, right? That would be your wealth account, right? And then if you want an emergency account, call it an emergency account. Now, I think 3 months for you higher income earners, if you know how to make money, parking 3 months into just sitting in cash, doing nothing Susan Orman style is ridiculous. At least put it into a flip account so it's making some interest and you have some money that's actually invested. So I totally disagree. So that's why they should be stirring lots of questions out there on these social channels. That is not what we're doing. So you take the average of your last 90 days of income and say, all right, I'm going to spend it all on paper, right? So again, right, mortgage, maybe you have an office rent, maybe you have, a variety of car payments. Like I have my car account for Tristan right now. I have college/business accounts that go for her. I have, like Logan's a business partner of one of my real estate companies. So he's in a completely different class of spending right now. Doesn't even, hit my personal radar ever. Because he completely lives college scholarship life or he lives corporate life. So everything that you are fixed, and then any variable, but the number, and I want you to flag it and put like, stars all over it. I want you really to get that number up per month of what you make, what do you invest, and where do you put it? And this is going to force you to start looking at money rules also in this book. This book is rich, rich, rich. It should be out at all times. Now, if you have debt, right, let's go here. So page 56 and 57, when you get the workbook, this breaks down all your credit cards, and you're going to allocate the millionaire way of paying off debt. So what you're going to do is you're going to allocate a certain amount towards bad debt, because you got to pay your base minimums. And then one card, you pay more, but you don't pay a balance of all of them. That is a really bad way to get out of debt. You're going to end up paying more interest. The way that I describe in the book exactly gets you out of debt. So between the Millionaire Maker, page 194, and the Wealth Cycle book, will teach you how to get out of debt, Millionaire Maker style. So let's just say you owe $700 a month in credit card payments. Then there's a credit card line. And then you say 700, and then what are you paying per card, right? Maybe you have student loans. So don't just say debt, define it. When I say forecast, I want it down to the nitty gritty of what are you spending? And I can tell you, When my coach way back in the day gave me this activity, it's rougher than you think. So if you are in coaching, a lot of you that are here, at least on the live broadcast, are in the big table. So use your coach to go through this. And if your coach is kind of rusty on it, let me know. And we'll, actually, we should send this all out, because not a lot of our clients come in massive, issues of debt. And even those of you that have healthy debt, I primarily use between my companies 4 or 5 different cards on a regular basis, but they're associated to different companies. So each card would have a full payoff schedule every month. Like I use one card specifically for all the tech, which is $15,000 to $20,000 a month for all the tech and all the emailing and all the texting and everything we do. So that goes on one card. So there is, how do you spend everything? If you have your kids on a never pay your kids an allowance plan, is that 50 a month or 100 a month? Like I'm talking detail. Every line item has to have a category. I can promise you, your bookkeeper, if they don't know how to do any of this, they should be fired, and you need to get some new ones who know how to really structure this. This forecasting will change your life. And you don't have to do it all the time, because you do it once, you go through it with your bookkeeper, they code it that way, you should be fairly set. So as you go through it, do proper allocations. And then if you just have a stuff category, right, don't put it in savings, just say, like it'd be interesting to see, go back through your credit cards or through your apps and see how much you spend at your coffee shops. See how much you spend at DoorDash and Grubhub and all those places. See how much you really spend in each of these categories and be real about those numbers. And if you are a shopper, like my husband is, who likes to just, swing through different clothing stores just to buy stuff, then have a clothing allowance or a stuff allowance, right? Because you just like to shop. The deal is, like, I don't care, like I'm not those kind of people. I am the kind of people who are like, if you want it, go make the money to have it and go spend it, right? Buy what you want. I am not the other side of this conversation, which is don't, live within your means and conserve and be frugal. No, have whatever you want, but you better make the money to have it, and then be very clear about your spending. And the most important thing is ratchet up that number. Don't just do 10% to pay yourself. What I love about the clients that are really serious, and I can name a few of them, they are on the, they're between 15 and 20,000 of new money now, but they're used to a $4,000 or $5,000 lifestyle. To me, that means at least 10 of that, like some of that will be used to spend to build their business, like buy better databases, pay people to do more funnels or Facebook ads or whatever they're doing to like market, like business growth. But a lot of that, like if you can live a $4,000 or $5,000 a month, and then take a few extra thousand to grow your company and take the rest and invest it, you've got financial freedom in your horizon. That's what it takes to be a 3 to 5 year millionaire. So I know we don't talk about the spending side, but I really wanted to, share that spending side. And Thomas, if you want to come back live, let's answer some questions. Like, this is a thorough read. This goes through a lot of stuff. From getting incorporated. If you're not incorporated, you can't do these deductions. And then your spending's off from the beginning. So it's get incorporated. Get your life insurance. Jason, I don't know if you put that in. I wasn't paying attention when I was teaching in the chat. You are welcome to put the Insurity Solutions and our Insurity Systems number in there, Jason, to get anybody who doesn't have insurance and a trust. So those are all structural. Then how do you make it? And this is really, I hope this served you on how you spend it. So Thomas, what's the chat say? Let's go chat to social media. What questions do people have about this, and was it helpful?
Absolutely. So just as Loral said, this is an interactive live session. Go ahead in the chat box below. Let us know what your question is when it comes to forecasting. Obviously, we're here darn near halfway through the year. And at this point, you should be projecting towards where you're going to be financially on a monthly average by the end of the year. And so you need to understand, what you can be looking at and start planning for appropriately. So team, if you have those questions on social media, go ahead and put those into the chat box at the same time. Loral, as we're waiting for some more questions to come in here, one of the first things I'd ask you is, say if someone's not hitting their goal when it comes to the monthly number, what would be the first place you'd have them to look, specifically on marketing or sales?
Sales.
Mm-hmm.
Sales. Well, I say it 2 ways. Sales is always my number one answer, is make more money. Mm-hmm. But then you got to back up a little bit and say, if you don't have any leads to call, then you need to get out and market. So your day could look like, which every revenue producing day should look like there's not a day where we're not marketing and selling like 7 days a week. I mean, maybe a few holidays we don't do the sales calls, but I'd say out of 357, what do you think, Thomas? I think we do 347, 345. Like, I don't know that there's many days that we are not, as a team, somebody in a sales process for this organization and this group. And excuse me, and I'm going to go wider because Jason and I are partners, right? Scott and I are partners. So whether we're selling or like Stacey Maynard, I know she's continuing to sell wine for us all the time. So there is always sales going on. So if you need money, you got to sell it, but you got to have the leads to sell too. So you should be out in social channels, always getting new leads, bringing new leads into your database, and then calling through and selling them, doing an sell ask. So it should always be a combination during the day.
Do you have a rule of thumb that you use with your students when it comes to what their average close rate should be?
Yes. Well, first I want to go back up and say, for you to be successful, our numbers for you to have a revenue producing day is 21 new leads. That means names, phone numbers, and email. So 21 new people, not just DMing on Instagram and all of that. Like, we don't even count those really. I mean, Thomas and Steve, I mean, Andrew, they're the ones that do all that. But I don't believe we count all those people because you don't sell from a DM or, a shared post. Typically, you got to get a name, phone number, and email, and you get them on a phone call to do an ask to last. So 21 names a day. And if you can sell 2 of them, that's about a 10% close ratio. That's like a minimum base that we go for. Then as you get more sophisticated, where you're really going to make the money is you increase your closing ratio. So now out of the 21, go get 4 sales. You do that, you're on your way to well into 6 figures. If you can do that consistently, that's the challenge. That's actually maybe, instead of rack up your revenue, that didn't really take off. People didn't get that campaign. I think we should say, are you doing your 21 and 4? Like that for sure. I could almost put a guarantee. If you got 21 leads a day and can sell 4 of them a day, like in your sleep, you should be making 6 figures. I mean, you literally would have to be sleeping to not make 6 figures if you could go find 21 people that will follow you and you have their name, phone number, and email, and they'll respond to you and you get 4 of them to buy, you're home free. That is financial freedom.
Got it. So 10% at a minimum as you get better, 20% or more on that sales conversion percentage. As we're waiting for questions to come into the live, go ahead, put them in the chat box below. Steve and the team did put in that $47 link for those of you who have not yet utilized that resource. Go do that now. Go to integratedwealthsystems.com/wealth47. You can click on the link below, be able to download, purchase that resource, and start putting together your forecasting for the rest of the year, and again, use it on a regular basis to help your business. So we have a question from Jason. He says, what's the difference between a spending plan and forecasting?
You can call them the same. You can call them the same. You've heard me use that back and forth. I use forecast. The reason I use that word more is because I use it more in here in forecasting to your financial freedom. But a lot of people, that word didn't catch on. Like sometimes, I'll make up new words instead of budget. And forecast kind of didn't catch on as much. So I did start using spending plan, but they're synonymous. Spending plan and forecast in our world is synonymous. But yeah, the forecasting didn't take up on as much as the spending plan. That just kind of makes sense. This is how I'm going to spend my money. Also, just for the kind of the recording as well, another great definition Nancy said is, to me, financial freedom means sufficient financial resources to enable me to grow my investments and travel, live, and enjoy life as I desire. And then there's the link for that workbook. We're giving it to you for $47. Again, the whole series is $199 typically. So there's a link in the chat. Do you want to make sure everybody has it in other social chats? If you want to, I'll just say it out loud. It's integratedwealthsystems.com, integratedwealthsystems.com/wealth47. So that will get you that link. If you just go to my store off Integrated Wealth, it's going to be $199. So you won't get that deal.
Right.
John, what do you mean by MSU?
Do you mean make stuff up?
Well, we always do that. But is there a question inside of that? So I want to make sure you have that. Are there any social questions for this? It's really, really important that you, as much as we focus you on income and funnels and how that works and how you have that sequence to the client, how you make that money and how you spend it will define how fast you become a millionaire. Because most of you, you make it, spend it, make it, spend it, make it, spend it. You're not investing enough money. And that's the millionaire pattern, is you got to make it invested. Like you're the priority, your family's the priority of making and spending, of investing the money. Right? And you say, well, I'm spending for my family too. Well, yeah, but you got to put that spending in order. Right? I was also asked a really interesting question on how do you hire mentors on Clubhouse? Because, you know, everybody became a coach and everybody became a mentor when, you know, the world went on Zoom. And I said, well, first of all, I look at sustainability. Yeah, and is that biased towards us? Absolutely. But we've been doing this for 25 years. Find somebody who's been doing the same thing, same content for 25 years and up leveling and staying current. They're pretty rough to find. If you go to Tony Robbins, you know, what's his first one called? The Power of Something. It's the same workshop. Again, very stock standard personal development. You don't need to change it. We didn't need to change ours. He's got a huge duration of personal development. But a lot of people, I'm not going to pick on them, but they've got different names for different things. And they're like, it's the theme of the year. And it's like, what sustainably can I hold on to that you teach? So I think sustainability is a huge part of how you spend to mentors. But then I really talked about sequencing. Like, why would you spend Facebook ads when you don't even have a damn website or converting web page or database? Like, some people are so out of order. It's just shocking. And I mean, especially on our team, Thomas, Andrew, and Steve see it all the time. Like, somebody's like in some digital marketing high-end course, I'm like, what the hell are you doing over there? You don't even have a database. You don't even have a tech team who can help you. You don't have the assets even set up, but you're in a podcast class because one day you might have one. I mean, it's odd. I mean, here's my favorite funny one. You have a bookkeeper and you're not making any money for them to count. Like, why are you spending money on a bookkeeper? So like, a lot of, like, you're going to need a lot of stuff. Just write it down and then let us help you sequence it. Like, let's put it in order. Like, I just did a massive investment. Last year we did one in LinkedIn, and this year we're doing one on our YouTube channel. And well, the investment's still there. We were already making it, but we changed and really up-leveled our podcast team starting today. So, you know, it's in order, right? You kind of hire what you can afford at some level, and then you keep up-leveling those assets and those investments. But it's not, I need it all today. So that's another spending issue, right? And some of you say, well, I want to be at the big table. I can tell you, if you do not have assets, the table, it's going to be frustrating for you because you're going to want to invest. You're going to be like, oh my God, it's a gold mine out here. I want to buy into that. I want to have that investment. So just stay in the 100K, just focus on your income for now. And then once that gets runway, and Thomas, maybe you tell your story, that's how you started. You started 100K and then you moved to the table. Mm-hmm. So we even, you know, gradiate you because we don't want you frustrated. And there are people that are really frustrated at the big table because, you know, they wanted to jump fast and they didn't make enough money fast enough to buy the investments that are available. And the table doesn't have investments, just to clarify. Clients, people that are clients.
Right.
Like Justin, you can go work with Justin. I mean, there's, I don't know, probably dozens of people who do amazing real estate. You can go partner with them. That's not a table thing. It's a client thing. Now, Thomas, why don't you give your story a little bit and let's go back to a few questions.
Yeah. So, you know, basically I had no clue what I was doing. I was like what Loral, you know, alluded to earlier, my sequencing was all out of order. And then utilizing the workbook, specifically building, leading, protecting your business, and then later wealth cycle investing, was able to consistently make the first year what I made in business monthly. And then from there, then you're able to start doing the appropriate projects, appropriate due diligence on the things that you want to get involved with. But what's great about what Loral offers, we've seen it hundreds, if not thousands of times, if you follow the process and there's market validation of what you're offering, it's not a question of if you'll be successful, but when. The key is following the sequence. The key is doing the legwork and having that work. And I'm, you know, proof positive. I'm an example of that myself. So there are a lot of folks out there that get your sequencing right. A lot of that's forecasting. A lot of that's doing the diligence, the review work of your business, working on your business, not in your business. And that will help you get to the level that you want to be.
Yep. Katrina said, how do I get involved? Any of you that want to get involved, just call our office right now. Just put your number in, or you can call our office. Our office number is 775-580-9200. Molly answers the phone. She will get you to a strategist after she asks a few questions. Lucy Ruth, absolutely. I have clients in Iceland. I have clients all over the world. We got clients in Dubai, South Africa. thousands and thousands in Australia, New Zealand. So absolutely, I'd love to work if you're in Sweden. That would be phenomenal. And Michelle Drake, way back up to the top. How many projects can you run under one corporation? That's a darn good question. Nobody has asked that one in a long darn time. So here's how, and I'm, what's interesting is you all hear me as super aggressive and super intense. And then we start. Then you'll start seeing like the slow your roll down conversation, because having one company, first of all, it costs a little money to get it set up, which is fine. You want that investment. But for some of you who don't have a lot of what I call runway, where you're not making a lot of money. So for example, if you wanted to do a little bit of coaching and you have a network marketing company that supports us, say you do nutrition coaching, or like I love the Mary Kay example, they're image consultants that also sell Mary Kay, clothing, jewelry, all that. I let them, until they're making well into like $250,000, put all that under one shop. Now, would you want to put a piece of real estate in there if you're going to invest in real estate? No. But you could put, like, I call it a hodgepodge, kind of a mishmash of a variety of business projects in one until one takes off. But to really separate them too soon, it's just a lot of cost that you may or may not need. The one thing I'd say on the other side though, Michelle, don't ever shut your company down. So I am notorious for shelving my companies, and I was trained by a genius in this, who taught me the value of a long-standing company. And like, it's interesting, my son's going to be 22 this fall, and Logan's finally, like, he's getting it, like, oh, all of these companies are going to become ours, like the kids. I'm like, yeah, and you don't shut them down. I said, by the time I'm off the planet, some of these companies will be 50 years old. Do you know the value of a 50-year-old corporation that has had, at that point, millions of dollars turned through it? A financial institute will look at that company as a very high valued asset. So a mistake I see a lot of people do is, say Thomas and I did a real estate deal and we sold it. We high-fived and said, do you want to go again? And Thomas was like, no, I'm gonna have more babies, because he loves having babies right now. He has tons of little kids. I'm teasing you. But you would, like, one of us should take that company. And what you do is you complete it, and whoever will say, I want to keep it, because I'm typically the one keeping him. I would indemnify Thomas and sign him out of the company. He'd resign. I'd sign him out. I'd indemnify him. I'd close the bank account and I'd let it sit. And I'd just keep the company clean and on a shelf. And then, say a new idea comes up, say Susie wants to do a real estate deal with me. I'll pull it back off the shelf. Now Susie becomes my partner. Susie funds it. We open a bank account with Susie and Loral, and then we go again. So I continue to get that history. So let's be honest, that's what Jason and I did. Jason and I picked up one that Kevin Harrington and I used to own together. So it's been shelved for a while. I indemnified Kevin and Brian Harrington, and I put Jason into the company, and voila, we have another company, but it's got a lot of history. It's got banking history. It's made it with Kevin. That company made that one. We did where's that book at? The Put a Shark in Your Tank, right? So that one had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars through it. Never made its way to $1 million, but it was a very viable corporation. So that was a long answer, but I think all that stuff's in the talk of financial freedom. I mean, those are little tiny strategies that are so significant that nobody teaches you this, like what I call the nitty-gritty stuff. I think it's so critical that you do that. So in the beginning, yes, you can put a lot under one, Michelle, but over time, you're going to have to babysit a little more. You're going to have to divide them up. And so, crypto earnings. So what I would do with crypto earnings is I go get a Roth IRA, and I grow your digital currency through your Roth IRA. And again, just talk to our team. We have people in every one of these categories. People. Aracelia, I don't know if I said that right.
Araceli wanted the link, and we gave that to her. It's integratedwealthsystems.com/wealth47, again, to take advantage of that resource that Laura was talking about earlier. Laura, I think that's an amazing point you had about when it comes to the crypto earnings, putting them in a Roth. I know we've sent out some emails talking about some events we may have coming up. Do you want to tease that at all right now a little bit?
I will. We have been, our community has been begging for cryptocurrency, and we've made a few runs at it. I believe all those are taken down, and they should be, because they're outdated. And well, it doesn't take long to outdate yourself in cryptocurrency. Actually, I don't mind, because it's David. It's pretty generic stuff, but you can see how fast. What'd be interesting, actually, we should keep it up and give it as a bonus, because you'll see, was that 17 or 18?
I think it was 17. Yeah.
And how different it is. Everything that you'll hear in that, we could just give it away as a bonus. But that was like state of the art at that time when we interviewed those guys. That was like
Yeah.
the best stuff to do. Like, oh my God, people's little heads were on fire. Going, oh my God. Now that's like the norm. And now we've elevated, and Kelly Korsak, the designer of all of Smart Portfolios at iFlip, is going to be teaching a 4-week class on digital currency. He spent 2 years untangling the algorithms, what's right, what's wrong, how do you do it? And a Roth IRA, you can fund, if you're over 50, you can fund at $7,000 a year. If you're under 50, $6,000 a year. So it's not a lot, but it becomes a lot, right? I mean, a lot of those digital currencies, I bought it for 9,000, Bitcoin's way up, all that growth, right? Now I can continue to keep trading on those profits. So the Roth is the best place to put that kind of stuff. So that isn't what you put in your corporation. That is not what you put in your corporation. So one defining thing with Michelle and your corporation question is businesses, active income and investment income. They should never marry. They should never touch. That is the one big rule. But a variety of business ideas and nothing's really totally taken off. Like you could put a book, a podcast, some funnel, a direct sales company. You put all sorts of stuff in one until one thing takes off, then you divide it out. But again, that's why we have expert teams. Our team and Scott will tell you exactly when to do that and when to separate. So let's go one more question here.
There's one there from Tim. He wants to ask a little bit more about just the discrepancy or definitions differences of entities, LLCs, S corps, C corps, things like that.
It does matter. There's a taxation that's different. A C corp is a completely different entity, has its own tax structure that doesn't flow through or even touch your personal. An S corp and LLC limited partnership all flows through the profits to you eventually. Right. Again, big distinctions is you file taxes separately, not as one big bundle. You ever get in litigation and they ask for your tax returns inside the one company, it better not be bundled with the rest, or you've just like unloaded your entire asset list to somebody else. Really bad idea. And a lot of lazy CPAs make that decision, or if you're not, designing it. Oh, for shelving? No, does not matter. No, I put everything up. Any of them. You would preserve all of it. Yep, at all times. And that's a worldwide principle. I know a lot of Canadians, they tend to close and open and close and open. And there's some companies, and the only reason they're telling you to close and open is because they're going to charge you for more entities, right? Let's just be honest. You do not have to do it. The only reason I wouldn't shelf it is if there was a lot of trailing liability to it. Like if there was the business you in had some trailing liability, where something could come back, I would not shelf it. That's like the only reason. Otherwise, and let's just say there was a license involved. Well, that person should take the license out and take it back and take it somewhere else with them. So you can dissect it down to just the shell, and then you're going to shell it and shelf it. That's funny. I finished. It's just going to be a shell. You're going to put it on the shelf, and I would shelf it for a minimum of 3 to 6 months before I'd reuse it. I wouldn't reuse an active entity with another partner right away. You got to kind of let it cool off and just let it sit and do nothing for a little minute.
One question I you saw out there, Laurel. St. George asked, are you saying to set up separate corporations for investments?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you're going to develop your own money rules, but you wouldn't put like a Roth is an individual account, and the rest of you around the world in Sweden or Canada, they're typically more like the title is a tax-free savings account, TFSA. So you could do that. But as far as the companies, I'm sorry, what's the question with all the entities?
Separating your corporations from investments.
Oh, yeah. So like if you have real estate, like real estate and gas and oil can sometimes get combined, but you wouldn't put like, real estate with, like I own the black hole. I wouldn't put my real estate with the black hole, right? And what I own in the black hole or the Ford dealership. Like, yes, you want to keep your assets and partnerships and liabilities separate from your assets. Absolutely. And our team is brilliant at untangling that for you if you have it all tangled up. Yep, absolutely. Let's do one more question.
The final question here, we'll go ahead and put it in the webinar chat if you've not yet done so. Also, you've on social media, you can go ahead and ask your question. We'll have it live answered here. And then Laurel, as we're waiting for that question to come in, when it comes to declaring your financial independence, What's the one piece of advice you have, generally speaking, for people looking to make that change?
Get busy making money. And for those of you who have money sitting around, get it invested. And I'm going to tell you a story, and I'm going to send this video specifically to some families because they're letting their family dictate their wealth, and their family's illiterate. They do not know financial literacy at all. And they're letting their kids or their family members vote of whether they invest or not. So I'm going to give you an example. So I have a client. I'm not going to change the numbers, about $300,000 sitting in cash, and needs about $1,500 more in cash flow for living expenses. So just do simple math, folks. You take 300,000, right? Let's just do it together, right? Get out your little calculator here. Right? So you take $300,000, and you can easily, like in your sleep, you could find 10%. So at 10%, that's $30,000. So 30,000 divided by 12 is $2,500, right? This client only needs $1,500 to live. So it gives her an extra $1,000 in cash flow a month to go grow her company. And then there's no more bleeding. The 300 stays parked. It's absolutely like stays in this pristine asset position. She can live on 1,500 of the cash flow until the business and use 1,000 to grow the company. And then once the company's up, stop living on the cash flow and reinvest the 2,500 a month. If your investments aren't making that kind of money, you need to like really look at your lazy assets. So if you want financial independence, it's make it, invest it, make it, invest it. That's the pattern that you need to create in your life. And that's how our coaching and mentoring, we don't tell you what to do. We're not advisors. We are really smart, experienced people who are going to help guide you and educate you and help you come up with money rules to do that. So it starts with this though. You got to pick a path, make a plan. That's my new thing. You've heard of my videos earlier, Thomas, right? Pick a path. Which path do you want? You can take a very slow path to this wealth building, or you can take a fast path. But this is a complete plan that was designed for that. And then if you want the coaching to go with the plan, at least start at the $47. This week, I do want to make a final plug. We are doing our marketplace. And my new talk track, I think you've heard me say, Thomas, is I don't want you for 2 days. All I need you is for 13 hours. 2 days sounds like too long, so people freak out. I need you for 13 hours and it'll change your life with money. So from 10 to 6 on Thursday and 10 to 3 on Friday, that's it. If that's all you attend, I'll have you long enough to have changed your life and you're thinking about money. So give me 13 hours, please. All right. So, so much information. Can't Dave Bez, come on. You got to keep up. You're so good. Come on. And I hope that you liked this information. Was that like a thumbs up? Give me some was this a good one? Did you like this one? 13 hours. That's all I want.
People like that. And again, if you've not yet had a chance to sign up or attend the Millionaire Maker Meetup at Marketplace, go call 775-588-9200. Molly and the team will be able to register for you for that event if you've not done so. And if you have not done it, go ahead. Go to integratedwealthsystems.com/wealth47. Get the resource. It is a valuable piece of your wealth building plan. Need you to fill it out, building your wealth cycles. And if you are not hitting your goals at the halfway point of 2021, do that resource, use that document to get back on track.
In with my blue light therapy here. I think it's kind of fun. I mean,
I like that. We just need we need a meditation to go with it.
Like you said, I need sparklers out of my head. So we had so much fun this weekend. It was we always have fun on the 4th. I think it's so fun. Well, it's that halfway mark. So it's defining now. Now it's a stretch to the finish line to make 2021 your best year. And you gotta take it seriously, and you gotta get to it. So thanks all of you, those of you out on our podcast. If you have any questions or have requests, go to askloral.com. You can put in your name, phone number, email, ask a question, make a request. Those of you on social media, same thing. Always askloral.com is where you have access to always ask questions of me or our team. So thanks, and we'll be back next Tuesday, 12 noon. If you enjoy it, please share this. Also, you are free to share this free. Where's the replay link for this? It goes to Millionaires in Training, right?
This will automatically be posted to the Facebook groups. We'll also be turned into a podcast episode. So depending where you're at, you'll have the opportunity to see this. And like Loral said, we have another number of social media investments coming in the near future. We're going to see more of this content on a regular basis across many platforms. We're looking forward to bringing it to you.
Yeah. So have a great day. Take care. Talk to you next Tuesday. Those of you that are Clubhousers, at 1 o'clock, we go live on the Millionaire Maker Club every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. So those of you that are Clubhouse people, we'll meet you over there. Take care. And if you don't know about Clubhouse, ask Molly when you call in. Thanks, guys. Leave it open for just a minute for people to grab any links in the chat there, Steve. And we'll leave it open for a few seconds. So just those of you who are on Zoom, you can scroll up and down and grab the different links and the phone numbers to get a hold of our team, including Jason. If you don't have insurance, get out there and give him a call. All right. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Real Money Talks podcast. Your host has been Loral Langemeier, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View. Want to learn more about off-Wall Street investing, tax strategies, and multi-million-dollar business strategies? Visit liveoutloud.com/podcast for past episodes, show notes, and resources. For some special wealth-building gifts only for Loral's podcast listeners, visit liveoutloud.com/podcast gifts. Do you have a burning question for Loral? Visit askloral.com to submit your question, and it may just be covered on a podcast episode. So stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to get new episodes every week.